When you have a staff person who participates in an elder meeting as an elder, how does that relationship with their superior on staff affect their participation in elder meetings? So what are your thoughts there?
Well, I know you and I both have helped men who are on the pastoral staff who are becoming elders think this through. And so you could contribute to this as well. But I think we give essentially the same sort of instruction, and that is just helping them think about the larger principles in elder board. And Christ has delegated the authority for the leadership of a church, not to an elder or a small group of elders, but to the entire elder board. I don't have any authority to act individually that hasn't been delegated to me by Christ through the entire elder board. And so understanding that means that here's an elder who's also on the pastoral staff, who's a part of the staff day in and day out. So they have to understand that the entire elder board has determined what the structure on the staff side is going to look like. In our case, I am, as the pastor teacher, I'm over the entire staff. Under me is our senior associate pastor, Jonathan Anderson. He is over the entire staff under me. And then there are leaders beneath that who are over various aspects of ministries. And so understanding then that structure is something the entire elder board decided. And that if I'm an elder in that structure, I need to submit to that. So what I say when I have a staff guy who's just become an elder, I'll meet with them and say, look, I'm thrilled. I believe you're qualified to serve. I'm excited about your serving. Here are just a few practical things about how that works on the day-to-day staff side. And I'll remind them of what I just said. And I'll say, here's some practical considerations of that. First of all, when we're in an elder board meeting, you are perfectly free to speak your mind and share your thoughts. If they're contrary to mine, that's perfectly fine. You're an elder. You need to contribute your wisdom, and that will drive us all together to the best consensus of wisdom moving forward. So don't hold back. I want you to feel free to speak. If it's an area where you and I disagree, and you have the chance to warn me ahead of time, I just appreciate your letting me know that. I'm happy for you still to speak your mind. I just don't like being blindsided. So, and you probably wouldn't either. So, just let me know. Come in my office and say, Tom, this issue's coming up tonight. I know you think this is the way it ought to go. Here's where I am. And I'll say, great. I appreciate you letting me know. You share your thoughts, and we'll see where the elder board goes. I mean, that's the beauty of plurality. Is I'm not the repository of wisdom. You're not. We together come to the best place. And so I ask him to do that. And then I remind him that in the day-to-day function, he still reports through the chain of command that the elders as a whole have established. So that doesn't change at all. So just helping him see that, okay, the elders have delegated their authority over this particular ministry that you're over to you. And that's still your responsibility under the structure that they've put in place for the staff to function. And so keeping those things in mind, that when you're sitting around the table, you're an elder, you have a vote just like I do, and it may be an issue where you have more wisdom than I do, in which case, speak up and don't ever feel like you can't disagree with me. On the other hand, don't feel like you have to contribute on every issue either.
Right.
So that balance, I think, is key. But just most guys, and I'd be curious in your perspective here, but in my experience, most guys whom I've given that basic discussion to have responded very well, and they understand that. It just helps to sort of vocalize it.
Right. I would even say that there's two sides to this in one respect. So on one hand, if you're in an elder meeting, topics are coming up randomly. Obviously, everybody participates in that conversation.
Yeah.
But when I was your senior associate, one of the things we would talk to the staff about, if you have things that you want to put on the agenda, I want to talk to you about them first. I want to know what those items are. And there's different reasons for that, right?
Right.
Some of them are, they bring that to me. It might be something that I can say, no, actually, that doesn't need to go to the elders. You can do that.
Right.
Or, yeah, that would be a good topic, but before you do that, you need to do more research because we don't want to waste the time of the elders. So there's a process. In other words,
good.
if you just have a bunch of people randomly putting things on your agenda, I don't think that's necessarily productive. Oftentimes there's a lot of work that can be done or it can be resolved without bringing it to the whole group of elders.
Yeah.
And so I think you have that side on the staff side. The other side, obviously, if they're in a meeting, they're going to participate fully with the issues that just come up on the agenda.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think you're absolutely right. And I think it can function very well. I mean, I think it's functioned very well here. I don't think anybody feels repressed. I hope you didn't feel repressed when you served alongside of me. People can speak freely. We just ask them to remember that the Lord has delegated that authority, and the structure is what the entire elder board has put in place, and we all live within that.
Right.
I have certain sort of parameters on my function. Those have been established by the entire elder board, and I need to function within those, and that's true for every staff elder.
Right.